This is the evening news at Tuesday, April 29, 2014. I'm Michael Young. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. Rodney Commission hears how House of Israel, the People's National Congress reform, undermined the Working People's Alliance Party. New Amsterdam prisoner critical after being stabbed by inmate. 2 charged for Patson salesman's murder. Commercial sector facing more hardships following the non-passage of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Bill. And Visalas Main Road in need of urgent repairs. Let's get right into tonight's top stories. Let's tell you first that the House of Israel, a religious organization which rose to fame sometime after 1971, was the thrust of the first segment of Day 2 of the Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry, which continued today at the Supreme Court building, Georgetown. More details from Alexis Rodney.
The religious organization was established in 1971 after its leader, Rabbi Washington, had come to Guyana. This information was shared by Dr. Walter Rodney's elder brother Edward, who had opened the second day of testimonies at the public hearing. Rodney was examined by the Commission's lead counsel, Glenn Hanneman. According to the elder Rodney, the organization was given preferential treatment by the then ruling People's National Congress reform, accessing spots on the government-run radio station to air its program dubbed The Voice of Prophecy. Rodney pointed out that it was extremely difficult for other entities which opposed the government at that time to have access to the station. He said that during 1978 and 1980, the period leading up to his brother's death, the organization had become quite popular at many of the Working People's Alliance's rallies led by the party's co-founder.
The House of Israel in 1978-79, I recall there used to be meetings held by the WP where Walter Rodney would be present, or where Walter Rodney would be featured as the main speaker. These were massive meetings. Never before in Guyana had been so many people gathered to hear political discussions. After dark, or even in the early afternoon, thousands of people. The House of Israel would be used at times to try and break up these meetings. The WP at that time had worked out a tactic of surrounding their speakers with groups of people so that the House of Israel couldn't really penetrate. But still they would be there because evidently they had been ordered to be present or make their presence felt at WP meetings at that particular 1978-1979 period of time.
According to Rodney, the Guyana police force had never on any of those occasions sought to apprehend the House of Israel members who continuously attacked individuals. He then submitted that while the organization had always caused a ruckus at all WPA's rallies, such behavior was never exhibited at the meetings held by the People's National Congress. Their affiliation, he noted, was obvious.
What I do know, because I've actually seen this, is House of Israel contingents in columns marching in TUC Mayday parades alongside of the TUC affiliates that were pro-PNC. Additionally, anytime
TUC, you referring to what, please, sir?
The Guyana Trade Union Congress.
Thank you.
And the Mayday that I'm referring to is the Mayday Labor Day parade. So you would have contingents of trade unions, and you would have the House of Israel, and you would have other elements proceeding along the same. And at massive rallies held by the PNC at the Square of the Revolution or Coffee Square, there would usually be a contingent of the House of Israel.
Senior Counsel Jairam then questioned how is it that the police armed with weapons were unable to contain members of the organization. According to Rodney, the multi-class House of Israel organization had an aim of mobilizing and organizing African Guyanese for religious and political reasons. He said the organization had a bullying demeanor and had little or no respect for authority. Reporting for the evening news, I'm Alexis Rodney.
In this report, you will hear that murder-accused Gregory Smith, also known as Cyril Johnson, and former People's National Congress Reform Executive Joseph Hamilton were also part of the House of Israel organization, which allegedly assisted the PNC government with attacking the Working People's Alliance Party. We're joined by Alexis Rodney again.
Edward Lawrence Rodney told commissioners and members of the Walter Rodney Legal Council that his first encounter and conversation with the now-dead Smith had proven without a doubt that he was part of the organization.
He was not in uniform then. He was a much younger individual. But from what I could see and experience with him was that he was there for a purpose. The words he said to me as I was stringing the wires from the speaker to the microphone was whether I wanted to have a meeting, a real meeting without police. This is his words to me. Do you want to have a meeting without police? This was Gregory Smith, 1974.
Rodney confirmed that he had once seen Smith in the House of Israel uniform.
I'd seen him in that attire. It didn't mean necessarily that he was part and parcel of the normal composite of House of Israel members, because I'd never seen him at public meetings. I only seen him that one occasion in uniform. It could be that he put on a uniform for that purpose, I don't know. But I did see him in the House of Israel uniform on that particular day, one occasion.
He confessed that he had never known Smith prior to their meeting in 1974. He said, however, that Smith had left a deep impression on him.
But the impression was there from the first encounter, if you recall what I said. The impression, a strong impression that this individual was part and parcel of either an organization or a group that was there to disrupt meetings, to bring violence to meetings. His words again, and incidentally, that particular meeting I'm speaking about at Durban Advisor was subsequently broken up.
Which meeting is this?
Durban Advisor. It was a WPVP meeting, the Working People's Vanguard Party. It was a kind of solidarity meeting for Walter Rodney. Working People's Vanguard Party, PPP, PYO, a number of organizations, but the WPVP had sponsored that meeting.
Rodney had also tied former PNCR executive member Joseph Hamilton to the organization. According to him, he had served in the hierarchy of the House of Israel. Gregory Civil Johnson Smith had been fingered as the lead player in the death of Dr. Walter Rodney on Friday, June 13, 1980. He later fled the jurisdiction. A charge of murder was laid against Smith when the PPPC government was in office on the anniversary of Rodney's death in 1996. On October 30 of that same year, then Senior Counsel Dudnoth Singh was appointed special prosecutor to lead the case against him. However, that case never got underway. Meanwhile, Joseph Hamilton, a few years ago, had joined forces with the People's Progressive Party Civic. Hamilton had had long service with the PNCR and had responsibility for several elections-related areas. He withdrew from the party in 2008 following a showdown between the Vincent Alexander-led wing, of which he was a part, and with that of another group led by then party leader Robert Corbyn. For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
Thanks, Vanu. A prisoner is nursing a stab wound at the New Amsterdam Public Hospital Corporation after being wounded by another inmate at the New Amsterdam prisons. Details from Alexis Rodney.
25-year-old Ryan Scott of Lot 4 4th Street, Cummings Lodge, is critical at the New Amsterdam Hospital after being stabbed around 10:30 hours today. He is currently serving a sentence after being convicted on a robbery under arms charge, which was committed at Roshaltown under the quarantine. Scott was wounded during an altercation in his cell. Reports are that the incident stemmed from a dispute over a prohibited item, which apparently belonged to Derek Callender, but was loaned to Scott, who refused to return the borrowed item. Hospital sources disclosed that the injured man received a critical and severe stab wound that punctured his left lung. The source said that Scott is suffering from internal bleeding and cannot be transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital since he is also suffering from severe respiratory problems. Meanwhile, Callender, who sustained minor injuries, was treated at the same institution and sent back to prison. Only last February, death row inmate 49-year-old Derek Callender had his sentence commuted to life imprisonment and was transferred from Camp Street to New Amsterdam Prison. He was charged with the killing of 53-year-old Lila Barrow at her David Street Kitty home between July 23 and the 24, 1993. Up to press time, Scott was still in a critical condition at the hospital's accident and emergency unit. Investigations are ongoing.
Join us after these messages for more news. Welcome back. I'm Michael Young and you're tuned to the evening news. The visorless access road in the east coast of Demerara is in dire need of repairs, as we hear from Gabriela Patram.
Residents that use the visorless main access road are calling on the relevant authorities to have the road repaired urgently, citing the hardship that they are made to endure.
Damaging up them people vehicle. There's one. Two, this road gotta get some light. And look, this bush with up top, they're looking like a Christmas setup. Right? It's damaging the wire. And this road very dangerous in the night.
Meanwhile, Raymond, also a resident of the village, also alleged that there was the wanton dumping of garbage on the main access road. He stated that bandits use the garbage piled up to their advantage and to hide when they are conducting their criminal activity.
They're using the garbage. The bandits, them using the garbage to do
to disguise themselves,
to block the roads, and then when people coming through, they're getting wrong.
Plus, you see no lights and them things. People is frightened for walking from the bush at daytime, much less night.
The repair of the roads fall under the Ministry of Housing CRIP program. For the evening news, I'm Gabriela Patram.
President of the newly installed the Leo Club of Stabroek, Georgetown, Delisa Small, said enough is not being done to engage youths in Guyana, and if something is not done sooner or later, there may be an implosion which may occur. Speaking to this newscast shortly after the installation of the club and the induction of its 33 founding members, Small related that she assiduously pursued the idea of forming the club as she recognized that in her and other communities, there are a lot of youths with idle time on their hands. When questioned on how the club will address this issue that is worrisome to the society, Small pointed out that the club and its members will reach out to the communities across the country. This, she explained, will not only deduct from the idle time, but will engage young people in meaningful and positive discussions about the way forward and their future. This is the evening news. Join us after these messages for more news. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Two men today appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Priya Siwanarayan Bahari, charged for the murder of Patsan trading salesman Bharat Ramcharan. Ramcharan was gunned down on April 24 during a robbery in front of the business while returning with millions of dollars in cash. Randolph Marquez, 20, and Kevin France, 26, were not required to plead to the capital offense and were subsequently remanded, but not before their attorney-at-law, James Bond, made a series of allegations in the court that the men were forced to give statements while Marquez was the victim allegedly of a rigged ID parade. Prosecutor Michael Grant revealed that there are some 18 witnesses thus far for the prosecution. Chairman of the Region 6 Regional Democratic Council, David Armagon, says that Hasif Youssef has not indicated his intention to vacate his post at the RDC, and until such time he does, he will remain on the council as a representative of the Alliance for Change. Details from Jomo Paul.
According to David Armagon, Youssef was democratically elected to serve on the council, and until such time that there are local government elections, the AFC cannot cause Youssef to vacate his seat on the regional body. The RDC chairman related that the council has no issue with Youssef or his views. He posited that only 7 out of 30 RDC councillors in Region 6 have moved a vote of no confidence against Youssef. In this regard, he stated that there were not enough votes for the council to ask Yusuf to resign or take any other measures against him. Armagan said whether the AFC has no confidence in Yusuf is immaterial to the work of the council. AFC leader Kemra Jamitam subsequently confirmed what Armagan had stated. He admitted that the AFC cannot cause Yusuf to demit his office and vacate his chair at the RDC. Jomo Paul for the Evening News.
The series of meetings between the Caribbean community and Mexico, including the third summit, must be viewed as creating a new platform for the relationship in the years ahead. This view was expressed by the chairman of CARICOM's Council for Foreign and Community and Relations, Winston Diocoran, who's the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Trinidad and Tobago, as he spoke at the opening of a meeting of foreign ministers of CARICOM and Mexico in Merida, Mexico this morning. Mr. Diocoran said the 40-year relationship had evolved into a more mature one that took into account both global and developmental issues. CARICOM foreign ministers and heads of government are in Merida for the third summit with Mexico, which takes place later today. All the speakers at the opening session of the foreign ministers meeting expressed their pleasure at the Mexico Caribbean Business Forum, which took place on Monday. Personnel of the 10 neighborhood democratic councils today participated in a workshop held by the Community Roads Improvement Department of the Ministry of Housing. Gabriela Patram reports.
The Community Roads Improvement Program, CRIP, today hosted a workshop on solid waste and market management for the members of the 10 Neighborhood Democratic Councils NDC associated with the CRIP training program. The aim of the two-day workshop is to identify solutions to the NDC that will better enable them to manage solid waste and markets around the country properly. Discussions were conducted by Mr. Craig Bartlett of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, who noted that improperly managed waste can have an enormous impact on health of citizens and environment.
So where does Guyana fall on the world stage when it comes to garbage? Well, guess who's the worst in terms of the amount of garbage they produce? In the United States, they produce about 2.5 kilograms of garbage per person. In Guyana, you produce about 0.8 kilograms of garbage per person.
He highlighted to the participants that composting is a very important element in solid waste management, while mentioning that it can be used for a variety of purposes.
Education is the key to bringing about change and bringing about a generational change. If you take nothing back today, take that back. It is going to be critical, and that's how you can really see change happen here in Georgetown, in Guyana.
The workshop will conclude tomorrow. For the Evening News, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Thanks, Gabriela. 44 years old Ronald Singh of Lima Village in the Essequibo Coast was granted bail after he assaulted his wife and threatened to kill her. He appeared before Magistrate Sunil Course on April 29, which is today, at the Anna Regina Magistrates Court. He was slapped with 2 charges stemming from the domestic dispute. An unrepresented Singh pleaded not guilty to the charges, which allege that on the 28th of April 2014, he unlawfully assaulted and made use of threatening behavior to his wife, Parvati Singh, at their home in Lima new housing scheme. Magistrate Sunil Scarsori placed the defendant on a $35,000 bail for the 2 charges, and the matter was adjourned to May 20, 2014 for trial. TravelSpan Guyana will be adding a new aircraft which will begin flying the Georgetown, New York route for the July-August peak season. More details from Gumiti Gangadin.
The 767-300 aircraft will complement the current aircraft flying the Georgetown route to back up and support the extra flights that the airline has added for the July-August peak season. TravelSpan stated that this move is intended to build a reliable air service for all Guyanese. The new larger 767-300 aircraft allows for a more spacious interior and extra leg room. It is configured with 30-seat business class with full reclining bed seats and 191 economy seats. The company currently has flights scheduled for Tuesdays and Saturdays, and for the July and August, there will be flights on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. The company also has flights scheduled for Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays to and from Port of Spain, Trinidad for July and August. TravelSpan will also offer an inclusive vacation package at hotels in Punta Cana and the Dominican Republic on Tuesdays in July and August. Travelspan, in collaboration with Vision Airline, currently offers a wide-body 767-200 aircraft for its non-stop service between Georgetown and New York. Reporting for the Evening News, Gomati Gangadin.
Today at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, Adrian Reese appeared before Chief Magistrate Priya Srinarayan Bahari, slapped with 3 charges. The first charge alleged that on the 21st of April at North Rhineville, Reese inflicted grievous bodily harm on Sean Mill, while the second and third alleged that on the same day, Reese assaulted Natasha Mill and damaged one Samsung Galaxy cellular phone valued at $130,000, which belonged to her. The defendant was underrepresented and pleaded not guilty to all 3 charges against him. Police prosecutor Michael Grant made no objections to bail, which was set at $100,000, $10,000 and $25,000 for the first, second and third charges respectively. Reese will make another court appearance in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Priya Srinarayan Bahari on May 13, 2014. Join us on the other side of the break when the evening news continues with more stories. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. It's now time for a look at what's happening in the region. Representatives from 15 CARICOM member states will meet in St. Lucia from today to April 30th to agree on a strategy and action plan to reduce adolescent pregnancy in the region. The meeting is a follow-up to the high-level multi-stakeholder consultation on the reduction of adolescent pregnancy in the Caribbean that was convened in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago on December 9, 2013, the CARICOM Secretariat reported. At that meeting, a draft strategy framework on adolescent pregnancy, commissioned by CARICOM's Council for Human and Social Development in May 2013, was presented for inputs and consensus from the wider cross-section of stakeholders. In Antigua, Prime Minister Baldwin Spencer has reiterated he would name the date for the general election as soon as he considers it to be in the interest of the nation to do so. In a radio and television broadcast on Monday night, the Prime Minister Spencer urged nationals to allow the Electoral Commission to discharge its duties and responsibilities in an atmosphere of peace, calm and objectivity as preparations are made for the general elections. Spencer was commenting on the rulings of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that had earlier during the day dismissed one of the 2 appeals filed by opposition leader Gaston Browne while holding up another. Now, internationally, in Syria, at least 37 people have been killed in explosions in the Syrian capital of Homs, officials say. The attacks, which involved at least 1 car bomb, also injured dozens. Earlier, at least 14 people were killed and more than 80 wounded in a mortar attack on the Technical Institute in central Damascus. The attacks come a day after President Bashar al-Assad registered the strong stance for re-election, defying calls to step down as a way of ending Syria's civil war. And now it's time for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Wednesday, April 30 at 5 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. The Burbage River Bridge will be closed on Wednesday, April 30 at 16 hours 55 for a period of 1.5 hours. It's now time for a look at your ferry reports. The Parika and Supernam ferries will be departing at 5 a.m. April 30th, 2014. Both ferries are also slated to depart their respective locations at 18 hours. Join us after these messages for your sport news. Welcome back. It's now time for a look at the evening news sport. But first, your headlines. Atwell heads to Glynston Gym ahead of the world title fight. GCB hosts successful scorers workshop, and Rajasthan defeat King Riders on boundary count. Our sportscast is brought to you with the kind compliments of Macor.
This is the machine you asked for, and it's what we are delivering. Introducing the new CAT D2 series.
Improvements made with you in mind. A mechanically controlled engine designed to cope with Guyana's toughest conditions. Lower fuel consumption and less maintenance, which reduces your owning and operating costs. The highest productivity in the market. Robust design, which is built to last. Macor, the only authorized Caterpillar dealer in Guyana, bringing integrated solutions for your success. Let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. It's now time for a look at your sport news in detail. Guyanese boxer Clive Atwell will head to Glaston's gym in New York this week to step up preparations for his world title fight against Mexico's Johnny Gonzalez on May 24 in Mexico. According to the boxer, he's in top shape at the moment, and traveling to New York is all part of the fine-tuning as he attempts to become Guyana's next world champion. We're joined by Avinash Ramzan.
Atwell will face the toughest challenge of his fledgling career next month when he takes on Mexican Johnny Gonzalez for the WBC featherweight world title in Mexico. The fight was sealed by Atwell's camp, Dog Pound, earlier this month, handing the Guyanese a golden opportunity to become the country's next world champion. In order to make that dream a reality, Atwell's camp has decided to fly the boxer to New York, where he will undergo training under the eyes of such experts like Lennox Blackmore, among others.
As it relates to the immediate plans, Team Atwell is expected to depart the shores of Guyana at the end of this week to begin the final stage of preparation in Glaston Gym, New York, where we will also be working with Leon Moore, a champion of Guyana, and Delon Kuru, one of the best coach and cutman in that gym, who is expected to join our team to Mexico.
Meanwhile, Atwell had a few words for his detractors, some of whom have been penning articles in the local press condemning the move by Dog Pound to sign the fighter against the more experienced Gonzalez. However, Atwell lauded his corner for sealing the fight.
They would have done the job in terms of securing a world title in effort to crown Guyana's next world champion. And I believe it's fair that we put aside difference, put aside beliefs and things and customs, and rally around the cause, which is to obtain a world title, and not to see anybody as good or anybody as bad, but that everybody coming together for one common goal, which is a world title.
Based on their records and experience, one would definitely be tempted to give Gonzalez the favorite tag, along with the fact that he would have home crowd support. The 32-year-old Mexican is vastly experienced with a total of 63 fights, 55 of which he has won with 47 knockouts and 8 defeats. At 25, Atwell is now building what has been a fantastic career to date, with 12 wins and a draw from 13 trips to the square jungle. However, Atwell was given a massive boost when the renowned boxer turned trainer Lennox Blackmore declared that the Guyanese is ready for the task at hand.
I think he's ready. He's getting ready. He's getting there. Mentally, I know he's ready. Everybody who want to fight for the world title said no, he's ready mentally. But you need to just get up there earlier and get acclimatized. He's ready.
Atwell and his team will depart Guyana on Friday for New York.
Rajasthan Royals defeated Calcutta Knight Riders by virtue of scoring more boundaries in the game after the teams tied both the 20-over match and the super over. Both teams finished on 152 at the end of 20 overs, forcing the game into a super over, the first of this year's IPL. Batting first in the super over, Knight Riders made 11 for 2, while Rajasthan replied with 11 without loss. The IPL will continue tomorrow with the Mumbai Indians playing the Sunrisers Hyderabad. practicing and potential scorers from across Guyana today completed the first in a 3-day part workshop at the National Sports Resource Center on Wolford Avenue. As Avinash Ramzan reports now, the workshops are geared at increasing the pool of scorers currently available in the country.
Close to 24 participants attended the session, which was conducted by veteran scorer and athletics coach Lyndon Wilson. According to Territorial Development Office of the Guyana Cricket Board, Collins Short, the local governing body is adhering to the mandate set out by the West Indies Cricket Board to develop the human resources attached to the various territories. This workshop is the second in a series planned by the Guyana Cricket Board to be held during the coming weeks.
A number of the development programs are similar across the regions, but may vary in different aspects. So a part of it is human development. Human development, we have play development, umpires development, match refereeing, scorers, and the like. So we started off with the team managers seminar Sunday. Today we have a scorers workshop, and it's the first of 3 workshops planned.
The next 2 workshops with regards to scoring will focus on the Boxhill scoring method and the use of computer software to score matches. Course facilitator Lyndon Wilson, during an interview with this newscast, explained the focus of the workshop.
We are focusing more on the basic of scoring, equipment using scoring. We look more on the control of the person of the self, what you have to do when you're at a scoring venue, and these kind of things. The 2 will be more on the Boxhill, which is a more we say difficult, but when you get to know it, it's a very easy book also. And then the other one will deal more with the computer scoring.
All right, as a man who's been around scoring for quite some time, are there new people coming into the system?
Yes, I like what I'm seeing, and as I was saying just now, there are a number of young people here. We know the youngsters, they love to play the cricket, but it's nice to see that they have interest also in scoring. And then the next thing, we're seeing a lot of female here, which is good, which means the cricket is now spreading to both gender.
Meanwhile, the Guyana Cricket Board will be conducting an umpires session from 9:30 at the same venue on Wednesday. This seminar would target umpires who are not certified and potential umpires. Among the laws to be discussed are the preambles and laws 30 to 39, which cover dismissal. The main facilitators are umpires Shannon Crawford and Nankumar Shivsankar.
Thanks, Avinash. That's your Tuesday, April 29th edition of the Evening News. I'm Michael Young, thanking you very much for joining us. Goodbye.